Hello, welcome back to Bishop Chapter. This is it. It's puzzle number 6, the one you've been potentially waiting for. It's Aten, the longest and probably most complex puzzle in the game. Not intentionally, it just turned out that way. Anyway, it's the home stretch. I've just got a few little bits left to finish in the game. There's a few little bugs that I'm just going to have to live with in the first build. They're not game-breaking by any means, they're just nuisances to me, really, because I know they're there and I see them. Maybe it's something I'll fix down the road. But for the sake of the game itself, which is focused on puzzle mechanics and nothing more, it'll have to do. Anyway, I've got a cup of tea, I've got the puzzle on my screen. Let's jump in. The Aten Tower, an ominous opening shot of it before we jump into the building. So these are both on opposite ends of the map, but labelled with that big word, so you can tell they're linked. And instantly you can see a sign on the door, which is locked. The sign is written in Comic Sans. On urgent business, don't call me. Back soon, Charlie. Nothing on the back. Exit. Take note of the name, Charlie. This is the beginning of a little kind of narrative subplot I've put at the beginning of this puzzle as a way of getting into the building. The next clue is in here. I've shown it before, but we'll have a proper look at it this time. Joshua, me again. This is the last straw for me. That makes 3 times now I've had to drain the lake and reset the pipe system. There's all sorts of junk, that's a clue, getting clogged in the filtration system, and each time I purge, it spits out something new. Coins, keys, hint hint, some kind of gemstone thing. The generator just regurgitates it onto the grass. Like I said before, I know exactly who's to blame. I tried approaching Nia, another clue, myself, but she just does what she does. I have theories on who she's meeting in the lakeside cabin. I'm setting up a camera. I'm determined to prove this to you, sir. This is absolutely detrimental to everything we're trying to build here. And the 8 reset pipes are all so far apart, it makes no sense. My legs are killing me. Please come pay me a visit soon, and we can plan a course of action for busting these lovebirds and stopping them from throwing their trash into my lake. Yours, Roderick. So a lot of clues laced throughout there. The cursor did kind of circle the important bits. But essentially, you're meant to figure out that this Nia person has been meeting someone, and the pipe's getting clogged with whatever is getting into the lake. So we've got these post boxes, and there's going to be clues in some of them, namely this one here, which is, it's a letter addressed to Nia, kind of hinting that this is her house and this letter is for her. So perhaps there'll be some clues inside. Everything's really bare, really sparse for now, just for the sake of getting the mechanics nailed into the game. Obviously, the house won't be this empty in a final build. All I've put in for now is just the important elements. So this fireplace. I fixed some lighting issues there and came back in. But essentially there's this little burnt note. I'll just lock up at 8 and put a note up. It'll be fine. Looking forward to our picnic. C. So we've seen the note in Comic Sans, and we have a theory who C is. So they're having a picnic in the cabin, Charlie and Nia. That's what you're meant to kind of take away from this. So this is intrinsically linked to the Noon puzzle, which you'll see why, but it's got to be done before you can do Aten. So I've added some new models to this cabin now, which relate to this whole plot line. It's the picnic. There's a picnic mat, a little cooler box, a bottle of wine, a couple glasses, And, what else is around here? Oh God. Oh geez. Some trousers hanging up on the railing. Oh, something's dropped out of the pocket. Driving license for a Charles Morgan? Charlie, perhaps? So, they meet up regularly here. He hangs his clothes up there, and whatever's in his pocket falls out and gets into the pipe system. So the key we want to the Aten building is in the lake, which is not ideal because you can't go in the lake. So I've gone ahead and done all the pipes for the noon puzzle, just for the sake of showing you this quickly. This is the last one that needs to be encoded, but we'll come back. For now, let's just pop outside quickly. I'm sure you remember this if you've seen the soundscapes video, but I'll show you again. That's the pump that regulates the water and, if needed, drains it and pulls out the blockages. So we'll just take a quick trek over here. It seems to be on. There's nothing really here. You can just see the pipes going into the water. And then you can see this big one on the top as well, kind of like a spout. This must be where it empties the blockages. So, looks like we need to drain the lake, eh? So let's go back in and let's finish the noon puzzle again. In the actual game, you only need to do noon once, so maybe you actually finish noon before you find all the clues, and then everything you need is right there for you. So I've shown this before, just how the lake drains, but I think the lighting system is a little bit better at the moment than how it was. So you can see the dry ground a little bit better. Anyway, here's the pump. And there's where it expels things, and oh look, it's a key. Key found. So odds are, if you end up finishing noon before you find the Aten clues, and you realize that the key was in the lake, all you need to do is just head over to the generator, and the key will be there. It's not something you'll notice likely the first time around. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll pick up the key, not knowing where it's for, and then when you try to get into the Aten building, it just works. That's the beauty of freedom of choice in games like this. So the next clue is in the Thoth Room. So I'll just quickly complete this puzzle. Done. Record speed. I've added a new document. The text on the front is pertaining to the King Ring, which we will go into in a video soon. But we are interested in what's on the back. You can pause and read that if you want. There's just some backstory about Aten and why it was needed. But yeah, this is what we want. If I can even angle it. It's very, very fiddly. Something about the sun in the east. Ask Charlie, and then some diagram. Take note of the diagram. But the name drop of Charlie here ties this into the Aten puzzle. We'll take the trophy just because it's there. So, off we go back to the Aten building, since we have the key. We can now get in. So there's music instantly. It's a bit... yeah, it's kind of not what you expect, right? There's a bunch of stuff on the table. Some drains for something. What are these things? Like cameras, projectors, glowing symbols on the sides. It's all on a giant map. And there's a mini version of the Aten Tower from the gates. Interesting. It's the lake. Road. This is kind of where we are at the moment on the map. And a big compass. And then this door with a symbol on it. And the music is blasting from these speakers here at the front. Maybe it's not immediately obvious what the setup is here, but eventually players will see this plaque. We'll read this as well. You rise in perfection on the horizon of the sky-living Aten, who started life. Whenever you are risen upon the eastern horizon, you fill every land with perfection. Whenever you sit on the western horizon, the land is in darkness in the manner of death. I didn't think I'd be able to read that, it's so small. It's a lot clearer in the game, but it's a quote pertaining to the sun disk deity Aten from ancient Egyptian times. Big surprise. And there was this weird thing here. Looks like that thing from the diagram, right? All these things kind of look like the things from the diagram. So this is the first thing that the diagram says to put on. Huh. We'll go back, grab some of the other stuff. That was the second thing. Oh. That's right. I'm a horrible person. You have to carry one at a time. The reason for that being that if you picked up everything and just spammed this thing, it would just auto-place everything in the correct order. There's no thought behind it. So yeah, you have to pick and choose which order you take things. Even if you don't find the clue, if you haven't done Thoth yet, this is relatively easy to just trial and error your way through. There's only 5 pieces. And it's kind of logical once you start to get a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Once the casing goes on, and once you get the circuit board in there and the light in there, it's just logical then that you put the front casing on, and then the last thing on is the lens. So what this does essentially is it fixes up a light projector that then projects light onto this orb, which you will see shortly. There we go. And then this orb being lit also sends out light from these 2 light projectors. but the light isn't going anywhere, and the ones down here are still off. So, I mean, it's plain as day that you need to angle the light projectors. The big clues have already been given. In that notebook, it talked about, someone said something about the east, and in that big plaque at the top there with a quote, it talks about the difference between life and death, light and darkness, and it mentions the sun rising in the east, covering the land with light. So, we need to look at these symbols. Obviously the other big clue is the presence of a compass on the map. But essentially, the solution of the puzzle is that you have to find each of the... So on the location of the map, each of the projectors links up to a console that is actually on the map. And each console controls that projector. And you'll see the console in a second, once I get to it. But you need to program in the correct symbol to angle the light in whatever way you want. So, for now, we'll choose that one symbol in the top left, which is actually the correct one. But the idea is that it's not going to be immediately obvious what the symbols do. There's several ways that this could have been programmed in. It could have been that you just select the symbol to the east and it aligns the light correctly. But the way this works is that you have to choose which symbol on the ring you want to be facing east. So in your mind you need to work out which direction you want the projector to be pointing. And then you have to work out, if that's the case, then which symbol do you want to be facing east for that projector to be lined up in that way. So you'll see now that the projector is facing the correct way. It's pointing at the next projector. And the symbol that's to the east is the one we pressed. So now we want this facing west, which means that the symbol behind the projector is the one that needs to face east. So it's that owl. And once you figure this out, you can go around each projector and make a note of where it is on the map and which symbol you want. And then you go out and you do it. So, I'm going to jump out of the game and then jump back in and reset this puzzle. And then we're going to go around all of the points. So the reason I'm resetting is because we've already put together the first projector, which is fine, because the doors will still open if you get it right. But the light's already there, meaning that we won't see the door open. And I'd rather show you the door opening, because it's cool. So I've reset. I'm showing you here how only one button can be pressed, and you can unpress a button too. That's all coded in. We'll go through that in the big code video. So that's the symbol done for that one. We'll run down to the next one. Here it is. They're not all exactly where the map says they are. You do have to dig around a little bit to find them. Some of them are up in the towers, some of them are not. But it wouldn't be a puzzle game if it was easy, right? So then there's this one. Odds are you're going to find this randomly at the beginning of the game. and not know what to do with it, which is fine, because you'll take a mental note and you'll come back to it later. Myst and Riven did a lot of this, where it would give clues to puzzles you didn't know anything about at the beginning of the game, and you'd remember them when the actual context was given to you, and you'll feel like a genius for remembering. So there's also one in the Anubis Room now. I've recently put that in. I think it's a great place for it because this room already gives you enough of the mechanics. You may as well add one more. It also acts as like a little kind of, before the player figures out how to open the bookcase, they'll probably get to that button thing and be like, oh, maybe this controls the door. No, it doesn't. But the point is, with the player messing around with it, it makes them remember it. It's, if this is one of the first things you find in the game, and you're pressing all the buttons thinking, what the hell is this? You're going to remember it. And then when you see these other consoles around when you're trying to solve Aten, you'll think, oh, there was one in the original Anubis Room. I like those moments for players. I try my best to put a few of those in. So, that one's a bit hidden, but there it is. The torch makes it pretty hard to see what the buttons are, but you can sort of, you can angle it to the edge of the light beam so that it's a lot more visible. And then here is the final one. We'll slowly make our way to it. There's a lot of walking in this game, and I'm really not kind when it comes to getting back down or getting up to these places. And with the speed of the walk. So we saw the button for this one, it was the owl. There we go. That was that one projector that we studied. Right, let's get going. Speed up. Any minute, there we go. The idea behind the walking is that it encourages exploration, and it also serves to make the king ring feel a lot more needed. We'll get to that again. I keep dancing around the king ring, but we will get to it. Right, so we're back in the room. If you see, look at all the lights, the projectors, they're all facing the right way. That one's facing there. They're all facing this orb at the end. So now all we need to do is get the light back on. Like I said, I've reset the puzzle and it's missing the final piece, which is on the table over here. So once this gets put on, the light will circulate and these doors will open instantly. So, ready for the doors? There we go. So, yeah, you can see the lights are all lining up. And the orb is projecting it onto the front of the tiny Aten tower. And there's the Aten trophy. I fully expect players to have a little bit of trouble figuring this one out, especially with the east-facing stuff. There are some clues about it, but it's very vague, and it's like that on purpose. So we'll do our traditional thing of heading down and placing the final trophy on the other console. There it is. That's all 6 trophies. yeah, that's it. That's all the puzzles. Well, all the main puzzles. There's one more puzzle relating to getting the gate open, but that's to do with the king ring. And so I'll get into that in a future video, and you'll see the ending of the game. It's going to be good. I'm absolutely worn out working on this project, so I won't stick around for this one for that much longer. I'll just say, yeah. What am I going to say? I did have something in my head. Yeah, that's it. That's all the mechanics for all the 6 puzzles. The final one isn't that complex. It just kind of, you need to figure out how to do it. And then that's the end of the game. And that's Bishop Chapter for now. So stay tuned. The big episode is coming. I'm thinking about splitting it up because it's probably going to be several hours long. I think. I don't know, it's hard to say. But if it does get to be long, I will split it up. Because I can't expect someone to sit there for 2 or 3 hours and watch a video on their phone on Instagram or something. So yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.